A few weeks ago I stated that an addition of a certain character to the game was good because it's, quote, healthy for the game. At first, when writing this script, it was perfectly obvious why. I pointed out some great arguments here and there, but later on I started thinking, what does it mean something is healthy for a game? If something can be healthy for a game, then what is unhealthy? What factors come into play when creating and designing something new to ensure the good quality of the change? Today we are going to discuss and try to set some ground rules to find answers to the questions I mentioned a second ago. And at the end we will look through this scope at the newest character added to our beloved Overwatch, Lifeweaver. Let's start with the most obvious fundamental rule of adding something new to the game, and that is avoiding repetition. Branding something as new should be an already big enough statement that players should be expecting something never seen before. This applies to everything from top to bottom, a fully fleshed out character, thing, or mechanic that is original in every single department. What departments am I talking about more specifically? Every hero in Overwatch can be broken down into 4 parts. But before we start, I have a huge announcement to make. I will no longer use my own gameplay in my videos. Instead, I highly encourage you to send me links to your gameplay videos from YouTube by sending them on the email address shown on the screen. This is not a joke. If you want to see your gameplay in my videos, then go ahead and send it there. If you can't record with good enough quality, then that's perfectly fine too, as you can simply go into your Overwatch profile, select the History tab, go to Replays, select the epic game you want to share with our community, and after pressing share, just copy-paste this code to the email address I mentioned. Make sure to also leave a short message who should be credited in the final video, and your messages should look something like this. Or this. Hopefully you guys will enjoy this small change, and now back to the regular video. So, the 4 main factors of every hero in the game. Number 1. Looks. So, everything that is visual, and maybe we could add in sound effects and other minuscule parts of the character that give them their very first step in recognition. Example, Reinhardt with the iconic rocket hammer and his big barrier. These 2 things are more than enough to recognize a singular character and make everyone aware who are you talking about. Number 2. Lore. That concludes every information about the character outside the gameplay. So, comics, walls of texts containing backstories, animations, videos, and interactions between other characters. Example, if your backstory is detailed enough and contains some connections to the visual design of a character, it's a bond that might be stronger than the other 2 factors I will mention later. I'll describe a character in a single sentence and let's see if you will recognize who I'm talking about. A character woken up after a long period of time, in an unknown location, gets an unknown order to follow a mysterious path that leads him to discovering his past. Yet the experience he gathered on the way is enough to convince him he doesn't want to follow orders and prefers peacefulness and free will. Did you get that? Notice that I didn't even have to mention the fact I'm talking about a robot, and the story is enough to tell its Bastion cinematic shortened into 1 sentence. Number 3 is similar, yet something different enough that it deserves its own spot. Character. And this is all the emotions, worldviews, and iconic traits of the characters. We can somewhat see it in the character interactions too, but it's mostly noticeable in the one-liners every character says when picking them in-game. Quotes such as "only through conflict do we evolve" is a brutal yet true statement said by none other than a character that fits this kind of worldview perfectly, Doomfist. It shows why this character is doing the things he does, what makes him use the tools he uses, and it explains every interaction he has with everyone else. Lastly, the factor that is most important to the largest group of people, those who just play the game to play the game and not get invested in anything I mentioned previously. Gameplay. And just a quick heads up, there is nothing wrong with that. Enjoying games however you want to is part of the fun. Why is this factor most important, you might ask? Even if the story is on par with Sherlock Holmes, the visuals are stunning and breathtaking, and the character is super likable in his quotes and behavior with the environment. If the gameplay sucks, no one will play him. And In that case, why even have a character in the game if no one likes playing it? It is everything you actually do in game, from the set of abilities you are given to the way you traverse the virtual space. Repetition is very hard to avoid, and gamers are a very fragile species of humans where even the slightest similarity in a character might end up in an outcry of hate and boycotting. When Overwatch launched, there was a flood of criticism that Overwatch copied Team Fortress 2, from how Torbjorn required 200 scrap to upgrade his turrets, to the entire existence of Mercy being a copy of Medic. Spoilers, it wasn't. The gameplay factor also plays a huge role on how we see the characters outside of just playing them. If their playstyle is annoying, then the entire point of view shifts towards the more fitting outcome. Torbjorn having a tool to repair his turret, Meme Dwarfhammer, Symmetra being annoying with her small turrets, Autism, and would you look at that, the gamers were right on that one. Mei being Mei, people literally compare her to Satan, even though her kit is all about eyes. You don't see those characters as their original personas, we made them fit to what we are experiencing in-game through gameplay. Actually, this annoyance factor might even be considered a somewhat fifth condition that plays a big enough role in the design of a character. Okay, back to the main topic. This video is about healthiness of a game after all. The 5 rules we set just a minute ago are great conditions everything new added to the game must accomplish originally and interestingly. So in short, we can state that for a character to be healthy for a game, it must have a unique and interesting look/design, lore/story, worldview/behavior, and gameplay. And of course try our best to avoid the 5th factor, that is annoyance. With that in mind, let's very swiftly go through everything Lifeweaver has to offer in his department and find out if this hero is healthy for the game or not. Starting with the looks, a solid jawline never seen before, off to a good start. The leading color has been chosen to be pink, accompanying with the orange belt and white hair. Very solid. The weapon choice is a gauntlet that flips to 2 sides, heavily sticking to the flower theme of this hero, which has never been seen before, and also the sounds are super nice. You might argue that the naked feet have already been accomplished, but comparing to how many heroes have their feet covered, I think this is a direct win for the barefoot gang. Lifeweaver officially passed the visual test, but is it coherent to the story? This is no hero review, so we will just blast through this like nothing ever happened. A dropout student who is able to bend light discovered he really likes hugging trees, so he decided to still use technology that most likely emits enormous amounts of CO2, but he's using it to imitate nature, so that's okay. Also, cute dog. Does this fit the design of our Barbie boy? Yes! Yeah! Now the characteristics and the worldview, and once again feeling very safe in this department too, as no one else cares as much about the environment as Lifewiener. Greta would be proud. Also very positive lad, he looks like he could be friends with anyone. Do you need friends? Fear not, my Discord server... Okay, just kidding. Unless it is time, the ultimate test, to decide if questionable sexuality man is healthy for the game. Are you ready for the gameplay test? Well, you'll just have to wait and see, as I don't have him unlocked yet. Hooray! I really don't want to share my opinion on his gameplay yet, as I don't behold the required experience needed to describe this part. So if you are interested in a deeper dive into the gameplay part of Lifeweaver, then make sure to leave a like on this video. And that will be it for today. I highly encourage you to comment anything you disagree with, so we can have a nice healthy discussion in the comments, where I will tell you why you are wrong and why I'm always right. And if you got this far, then maybe press that sub button as a sign you want more videos like this one. Just a quick reminder that if you are still interested in sending those gameplay videos to the email address I provided, then make sure to do that right now. And as always, thanks for watching, have a lovely day, bye bye.